What is going on, guys? Back again with another Arbitrum ecosystem update. As usual, nothing in this video is financial advice, and everything I say is my opinion and my opinion alone. Let's jump right into it. We have a tweet here by Stephen Goldfeder, CEO at Offchain Labs. He says, Stylus is nearing completion, and with its launch, Arbitrum chains will go MultiVM. It's going to be a massive unlock for developers, more languages, better tooling, and of course for users, even cheaper transactions for Stylus-based apps. Definitely, couldn't agree more here. But I thought what was interesting here is actually a comment by Rushi, who is who's building Movement. I think he's actually the co-founder or CEO, if I recall. Essentially, he says, heard Stylus is moving. And for those of you who don't know, because Stylus essentially introduces a WASM VM, any languages like Rust, C, C++, essentially will be supported technically by Stylus. But the cool thing is that any language alongside Rust, C, C++ that can compile down to WASM will be supported, including the likes of Move, Cairo, there's another one, Sway, I think. Pretty much any language that can compile down to WASM will essentially be able to be supported with Stylus. That doesn't mean it'll be live day one, because to my understanding, it still needs to be actually kind of like integrated into the protocol itself. But if that's something Movement Labs wants to do, then that's definitely something that can happen, which I think is so cool. So I obviously liked it, retweeted it, and I'm looking forward to it. And I think for what it's worth, in the past I've referred to Stylus as AltVM because technically it's a WASM VM instead of an EVM. Again, if you look at this picture here, again, there's technically EVM and WASM VM. But I think the better wording here is MultiVM, because in this case, Arbitrum Nitro, at least any Arbitrum chains that do include Stylus, will have 2 VMs now instead of 1. So definitely, it's kind of funny because I think like the alt VM, multi-VM kind of narrative kind of started maybe last year, or maybe late last year. And this entire time, it's kind of something that is essentially going to be natively built into the Arbitrum stack with Stylus. So it's kind of cool how like it all kind of converges to essentially having multiple VMs on one layer 2 based protocol. In this case, obviously, as well as any other Orbit chain that decides to implement it. So yeah, definitely very exciting. I wanted to make sure I kind of spelled that out for those, because I know it's Stylus, and I think all this other stuff seems very technical, but it's definitely worth making sure that everyone knows what's going on. We have a tweet here by David, also from Offchain Labs. He says, excited about this. The Arbitrum Bold AIP has been updated to propose paying a service fee to active proposers based upon composite Ethereum staking rate, or coin fund. Now, TLDR, so Bold, for those of you who don't know, is essentially permissionless validation on Arbitrum, essentially a way to make sure that validation can be permissionless for any Arbitrum-based chain. So you'd put up a stake, and of course, the idea would be that you're essentially defending the chain and making sure that anything that is posted from Arbitrum back to Ethereum is the correct state. So in this case, the more recent proposal, the more recent update, I should say, which is what David is posting here, does introduce essentially a fee to people who are actively proposing. In this case, I think the actual fee is technically ETH, but my understanding is that it would essentially be any token that Bold ends up kind of supporting. So whether it's ETH, whether it's a different ERC20 token, it'll essentially be, or the rewards should essentially be paid off that. I think the percentage was like 2 to 3% or 3 to 4%, just depending on what the CESR is. But nonetheless, Bold, I think, is one of the, again, probably Bold, I would say arguably is just as exciting as Stylus is from a decentralization perspective, but is definitely one of the most complex things to understand. So I'm definitely looking forward to there being more education on it, and just kind of more resources for people to learn who are more on the left curve, like myself. And obviously, when I get a hold of some of that stuff, I'll make sure to mention it on Twitter ad nauseum, and of course on some of these videos, so that everyone else also has the same amount of information as I do. But that being said, yes, thank you for that post, David. We have a tweet here by Max Lomu, I think from Connext. Yes, ecosystem lead at Connext. He says, exciting that this is going to work with a few L2s at launch. And what he's referring to here actually is Coinbase's smart wallet, or more specifically Magic Spend, in relation to Coinbase's smart wallet. Let me go ahead and, in this case, they're actually showcasing, I think, Degen and Base. But my understanding is that I think based off the docs that Wilson kind of put here, who works at Coinbase, or Base, I should say, that multiple networks will be available at launch. And it's essentially, from what I understand, like almost every EVM-based network, including Arbitrum. So pretty exciting stuff. I know Coinbase's smart wallet is something that we're all looking forward to, I think, just as an industry in general. Obviously, like I'm very bullish on onboarding more users to the extent that it's also safe and it kind of sticks to the crypto ethos of having ownership over your own keys. And the nice part is, as Max says, I think it'll be supported on every EVM-based chain. Not only obviously Base, but every EVM-based chain should be supported from day one, to my understanding. So whether it's Magic Spend or the wallet itself, definitely looking forward to seeing that coming at some point soon. It seems like they're already testing this stuff, I guess, out in the wild. So yeah, should be exciting. All right, we have a tweet here by DLabs Official. They say DLab Games powered by Arbitrum. We're excited to announce that DLabs Games will be built on Arbitrum 1. We have deeply partnered with Arbitrum to achieve our mission to bring on-chain gaming to another level with the DLabs playable layer. So there's a couple of things here they say. Actually, I'm not going to go too into it just because they're kind of just showing off why they picked Arbitrum, which is awesome, of course. But I just, it's kind of funny because it's like another win on like the gaming side, I guess, for the Arbitrum ecosystem. And I don't think it's going to stop here either. It's funny because I think like in the gaming space within crypto, I think everyone is very familiar with how far ahead Arbitrum is now. I think like from the outside looking in, like if you're kind of like in the Ethereum ecosystem or if you're not really into gaming specifically, you kind of just see like maybe like IMX or like Ronin or something. I think, okay, like those guys are probably still doing their thing. But in all reality, I think it's kind of getting to the point, I think, where like, Arbitrum is kind of like, there's definitely a better word I could use here, but cannibalizing gaming. I'd argue has a pretty good head start in a lot of other verticals as well. DeFi, obviously, there's not even a question there. But gaming, I think, is definitely like second to DeFi without a doubt. And frankly, it's partially why you see a lot of Orbit chains using Arbitrum. A lot of gaming teams using Orbit chains for their games, particularly like Pirate Nation, Zai, Treasure, and all the other ones as well. So yeah, definitely shout out to DLab Games for making the move over to Arbitrum. We look forward to having you in the ecosystem. We have a tweet here by Caldera. They say, bringing real-world assets on-chain. We're thrilled to partner with Pelo Network to launch their modular RWA Layer 2 on mainnet, built atop the Arbitrum Nitro stack. Learn more below. And I think I actually already spoke about Pelo Network coming to Arbitrum. I know they've announced it already. But I guess the cool part about it that I didn't really notice before is that they're actually going to be doing more than just like stocks and like stuff like that. I think when people think RWAs, that's usually what they think, like stocks, real estate, whatever. They include collectibles in this case, like cards, sneakers, toys, alternative assets like fine art, wine, I guess luxury watches, that's kind of cool. And of course the classics, bonds, real estate, private credit, commodities, etc. Really looking forward to seeing more like, vertical specific Orbit L2s, especially ones that really, like RWAs in gaming specifically, I think are the ones that will really catch on, especially because they're, again, like they're a vertical that has not really taken off just yet, just like similar to how DeFi and NFTs have. So definitely, I think with this next bull run, RWA and gaming-based Orbit chains, I think we'll have a pretty big leg up, obviously, assuming their go-to-market is correct and all that other stuff, of course. But I think you need L3s to scale this stuff properly, and of course, with UX and a go-to-market that just, is second to none. So nonetheless, shouts to Pelo Network for choosing Arbitrum, and of course, shouts to Caldera for partnering with Plume. And lastly, I wanted to go ahead and make sure that all you guys were aware of this. NiftyKit had their anniversary. I think it was 2 days ago, actually. They wanted to celebrate 3 years of building with the community, and they dropped a special NFT on Arbitrum, featuring some art by Mr. Brian Design. Go ahead and claim it here. The cool thing is that, obviously, as they say, it's a free mint and it's an open edition, so make sure you claim it. Highly recommend you take a look and go ahead and give it a mint. Why not? NiftyKit has been a really cool team to work with. I've worked with them personally for a couple of different projects, but Really excited to see that they've been around for 3 years. Wow, it's crazy how fast the time moves. But that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will catch you in the next one, all right? Peace out.